Problem solving using Pythagoras. Here we have a problem where there is a rectangular gate and we want to determine the length of the diagonal support across the gate. It's really important for these worded questions. If this worded question involves any shapes or measurements or anything, draw a diagram. It'll help a lot. So let's draw the rectangular gate. It looks something like this. Maybe the other way around, I don't know. This one would be the short length, the 2 meters, and this one's the 3 meters. So we've got a little sketch of what's happening. And we want to find the length of the diagonal support. So we'll draw in the diagonal support because we need to know that length. We need to figure it out. Now, before we start, it's useful to have a gut instinct of roughly what you think the answer will be. So tell me, what do you think the answer will be? What do you think this length will be, roughly? Take a stab. I think it's going to be a little bit more than 3 meters, but it's hard for me to say. Maybe I might go with, I don't know, 4 meters or so. Let's see what we get. At least we'll know when we get to our answer if it's roughly right or wrong. So we've drawn a neat, clear diagram of the situation. We need to mark known lengths, which we've got this known length and this known length. Those are all the lengths we know from the question. We need to mark the right angles, which I sneakily just did then. So we can cross off these 2 things. We've done these. Now, use a symbol such as x to represent the unknown length. The length I want to find is this one. So we'll mark that x. Boom, done. Cross it off. I've put a little note here just so that the reader is really clear that the length of the diagonal is x meters, rather than some other length, like this length. Write down Pythagoras' theorem. Pythagoras' theorem says that this leg squared plus this leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. So x squared is 2 squared plus 3 squared. The hypotenuse is the one that goes by itself. It has no friends. Poor hypotenuse. So now I can replace, well, this 2 squared, that's arithmetic. You know what that is. 2 squared is 4, and 3 squared is 9. So we will write it out again. All the other stuff, copy it down. It makes life a lot easier. So copy down all the other stuff, just replace one thing, or 2 things here at a time. So I've got 4 plus 9. Well, that, again, is just arithmetic. 4 plus 9 is 13. So that will go here. X squared equals 13. Now I need to do the opposite of squaring. The opposite of squaring is the square root. It could be positive or negative. So I'll just put a little note here that because x is positive, because this is a length, and it would be pretty stupid if the length of this diagonal support was negative. You know, how much metal do you need? Oh, negative 2 meters? No, that would be silly. So we'll put a little note, x is more than 0, that's why this has to be the positive square root rather than the negative one. Technically speaking, this has 2 solutions. Okay, so x is square root 13. This is the last step in which it is exact. From here on, we'll be making approximations. We'll be estimating, using our calculator to round off. If you put this in your calculator, you get this, and it actually goes on forever. So I've put the squiggly equals because we've rounded off. 3.6055 meters, roughly. We still have answered the question because we want to get it to the nearest centimeter. The easiest way to do that is to convert into centimeters. There are 100 centimeters in a meter, so I need to multiply this by 100. The decimal point will move 2 places. So it'll be 360.55 centimeters. Rounding off, I have 361 centimeters. And that's it. That's the answer. We've solved the equation. Especially if the question is worded, it is sometimes useful to write your answer in sentence form, especially if you want to be really clear what the answer is. So the diagonal is 361 centimeters long. Now, I don't know what your guess was. Mine was about 4 meters. And it turns out that was pretty close. I figured it was a little bit over 3. If it was very, very different to your prediction, then you want to double check that something hasn't gone wrong yet. I put this here because sometimes you'll be asked for the exact answer. Now remember, this was the last point at which it was exact. After that, we started rounding off. The fact that it has a square root sign in it means that it is a radical or a surd because it has a square root. So if you're asked for the length in exact form or surd form or radical form, then write the last line that is perfectly exact, which is square root 13. And we're done. You can put a unit on as well. Square root 13 meters.